This is Tegan Molden. She's with Hole McDowell, which is a Marsh and McLennan company.
Yeah.
So H triple M, not to be confused with A-triple-I. Yeah, you guys are in trouble. So, anyway, Tegan's going to talk about the new health insurance plan that we're going to here with the Parker School. You know, traditionally we've been with Sanford Health here for a number of years. It's a policy that, what do you call it, just a major med policy essentially through a group plan,
Yep.
group policy. Now we're going to a self-insured pool with Northern Plains Insurance Pool. That's the group of schools we were together with Sanford, approximately 60 schools, 60-some
Yep.
schools. And with this change, it brings out some other alternatives that we've been able to pursue, including multiple carriers. Instead of just Sanford, you can also go with Dakota Care, which is now a wholly owned Avera company. Tegan, I'll let you take over.
Yeah.
And feel free to ask some questions as we're going along here.
Please.
Shouldn't take too long here, half hour, 45 minutes has been traditionally
Yep.
what it is. And we'll be here for some questions as well.
Yeah, please ask questions. These usually go a lot better when you guys interrupt or ask questions. So, again, Jim did a good job explaining. So this last year, the pool that you guys were a part of went out to market. They went to 4 carriers: Sanford, Dakota Care, Wellmark, and Avera. And here's just some of the overall selection criteria that the executive board of the pool looked at. Obviously, overall cost is huge, and the provider choice being another big one. So what they came out with is a side-by-side option, which I think you guys already know, with Dakota Care and Sanford Health Plan. So you guys can choose one carrier or the other. This top row here, this is our team out of Sioux Falls. This is Sarah Delaney, Sam Thomas, and then myself. We are also your resource, so if you have questions, Jim has our contact information. You can always call us as well as Dakota Care or Sanford. So when you guys are deciding which carrier to go through, the network is going to be the biggest piece. It's going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. I don't know if you guys remember last fall, Avera and Sanford were fighting a little bit with each other, and they were pulling out each other's networks. So really, Sanford Health Plan is going to look more like a true Sanford plan. So if you go to Sanford providers, you're going to want to choose Sanford Health Plan. Same with Dakota Care. If you use Avera providers, you're going to want to choose Dakota Care. Those are going to be where the best discounts are going to be. Also, any independent providers are still in network for both carriers. And in the past, the pool has had some exceptions made for them. These are expiring as of June 30th. So again, really that true Sanford Health Plan is what it'll be, and true Avera network. You guys are also going through open enrollment right now. I believe you all have your applications. Jim needs those back by May 15th. So you all will select which carrier and which plan on that. And you'll also get a new ID card this year. So as of 7/1, you can throw away your old Sanford Health Plan ID card, and you'll get either a new Dakota Care or a new Sanford Health Plan ID card. So when you're choosing or deciding which network to go with, we do have a website that I want to show you. It's www.npinspool.org. It looks like this. There's a benefits tab. Underneath that is employee resources. It's password protected. Your password is going to be benefits 2017. All lowercase.
I'll get that information out to you folks too, so here, don't worry about scribbling down stuff right now.
So on this website is where you can do your provider searches, and it's going to have links out to them. So here's the Dakota Care provider search. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So if you want to know which doctors are going to be in network for you with which carrier, here's where you would do that. Same with Sanford's. Here is theirs. It's going to come up to a page like this. You're going to select this drop-down arrow. I'm sorry if you ladies can't see right now. This drop-down, and at the bottom, it says Group Northern Plains Insurance Pool. And then you accept, and it'll bring you to this search here. So that's where you're going to search in-network providers. There's also pharmacy and formulary information on here for both carriers, right under here. And then the preventive guidelines for both Dakota Care and Sanford. And underneath that are going to be the summaries of benefits and coverage. So these are all 9 plans that the pool offers. You guys are only offered 3 of those plans. So they'll be here for both carriers. And that just goes into a little more detail of what those plans are, and I'll show you what those look like. It'll look something like this. When you guys are choosing which plan and you want something a little more in detail, those are out there for you guys as well. Are there any questions on the network piece or the website? I'm gonna talk a little bit about the plans now mainly. So here is your current plan that you're offered through the pool with Sanford Health Plan. This is going away as of 7/1, but I just want you guys to be aware of what your current plan is. And when you look at this, you're gonna see the 1750/3500. When it says slash here, this is a single deductible and this is a family deductible. Same with your out-of-pocket maximum. This is your single out-of-pocket maximum, so the most you'll pay in a year if you have something catastrophic happen. And then for a family, that's $7,000. Here, your office visit copays are going to be split at $15 and $40 for a primary and a specialist. Your emergency room copay, and then your pharmacy copays. So these are your three plans that you're going to be offered through Northern Plains Insurance Pool this year as of 7/1. So you can choose either Sanford or Dakota Care. The plans are going to be the exact same. One thing I do want to note is that if you guys do choose to go with Dakota Care, anything that you've met as far as your deductible and your out-of-pocket maximum will be carried over to Dakota Care. So you won't lose the benefits that you've already used up this year. So as far as plan designs, for the copay plans, I'm going to talk about these two plans here first, the Pheasant and the Hills. There's a $1,000 deductible plan. Your out-of-pocket maximum is going to be $3,000 or $6,000, so again, that cap. Any office visit is going to be a flat $25, so that split copay goes away with this plan, just a flat $25. Your ER copay here, and then your pharmacy copays at $10, $25, and $40. So these are a little bit better than your last copays with your last plan. One thing I do want to note on any pharmacy or formularies, Dakota Care and Sanford have two different formularies, and that's just means they might code their drugs a little bit differently. So for Dakota Care, you might have a drug that's a tier 2. With Sanford, it might be a tier 3. So doing that research beforehand, and those formularies are online on that site I just showed you. So that is the Pheasant plan. Here is the Hills, a little bit higher deductible, that $2,000 or $4,000. Again, same co-insurance. Out-of-pocket maximum is a little bit higher, that $5,000 or $10,000. And we're back to that office visit copay, that split copay. $25 for a primary and $50 for a specialist. A good rule of thumb for a specialist is anyone with an ologist behind their name is usually considered a specialist. That ER copay is going to be that $200, and then your pharmacy copay is at the bottom there. They're still a little bit better than your last plan. Have any of you guys used the video visits or e-visits with Sanford yet? On like My Sanford chart? Do you guys have My Sanford chart, or have you logged into that? Okay. So it would be under that portal. And Dakota Care will have the same thing. So these e-visits and video visits are literally, you can send like an email message or set up a time to meet as like a Skype video with your doctor or with a doctor. And they can actually prescribe you from right there. So actually, one of my bosses has, she sent in a picture, I know this is gross, of her strep throat to her doctor, and they prescribed her the medication without going into the doctor. And that's actually only a $10 copay for these two copay plans. That's kind of a nice benefit. And I know bringing in kids to the urgent care is kind of, you come out feeling a little bit sicker than when you come in. So that's a nice benefit, the e-visits and video visits. Preventive visits, you guys all will have a preventive visit, again covered with all three of these plans once a year. That wellness preventive visit, those preventive guidelines are online under the website. So these are your copay plans. I do want to talk about this one on the right though. This is your high deductible health plan with an HSA. The reason this is a high deductible health plan is because it doesn't have any copays. So you'll see here everything goes towards deductible and co-insurance. So there's no first dollar coverage. So you guys are probably used to going into the doctor and you pay that flat $25 copay or $15 copay, but that is going away. So you'll pay that true cost of that service. Any typical office visit is about $130, so you'll be responsible for that full cost. But this plan can be paired with an HSA, a health savings account, and that kind of supplements those high first dollar coverage or first dollar coverage charges. So you'll see for this plan, the deductible and the out-of-pocket maximum are the exact same. So you are responsible for that full cost up to $4,000 as a single or $8,000 as a family. And then you're capped at that for the year. Any questions on the plans themselves?
Did you say the wellness and preventative is the same for both, or we should go into both and look?
They're the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Talk about HSA a little bit, explain that.
Yes, I will right after this.
Okay.
Yep.
The pharmacy deal there down there where you have 10, 35, and 50, that is what generic, what is?
Yes. Oh, yes. Good question. $10 is going to be your generic prescriptions. 35 is going to be your tier 2 brand name preferred. They're called. So if they're on the formulary, they're preferred. Then $50 is going to be your tier 3 brand name non-preferred, so a little bit more expensive. On that same note, the biggest thing with the high deductible health plans is the pharmacy. People get tripped up on those a lot. Just because you go in and you're used to paying that copay, but the true cost of those drugs are much, much more expensive. So knowing what the true cost of your prescriptions are before you enroll in that plan is very important. It should say on your little prescription sheet that comes with your drugs what the true cost of those are, if you want to look that up. Any questions on the plans themselves before I talk about the HSAs? Okay. Here are the premiums. I think, Jim, do they have these already?
Yeah, they're on the sheet, the front sheet shows the school, your share rather, cost on.
Yeah, this is with Parker's contribution, so that's what you'd pay monthly. All right, so the health savings account, what is it? It's truly separate from your insurance. So your high deductible health plan is your insurance. That $4,000 or $8,000 is your insurance. The HSA is what can be paired with it. And it is a bank account. It's a trust established in your name. If you leave Parker or if you retire, that money stays with you. It is your money. If you die, it will transfer to your spouse as an HSA or a taxable asset to any other beneficiary. So in order to open up the HSA, this slide is really important, you guys, the eligibility piece. So you have to be enrolled in that high deductible health plan. You cannot be enrolled in a copay plan to have an HSA. It has to be that $4,000 plains plan. You cannot be dependent on a non-high deductible health plan. So if your spouse has a copay plan, you cannot be enrolled in that plan with them. Along those same kind of lines, if your spouse has a flexible spending account, but you're not enrolled in that plan, you still cannot open an HSA. And those are just regulations set by the IRS. They consider that double dipping if you have an HSA and an FSA in the same family. Same thing, you cannot be enrolled in Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, or receiving VA benefits. You cannot be dependent on someone else's tax return. You can obviously file jointly, but you cannot be dependent. So those are the eligibility requirements for opening and contributing to an HSA. So contributions, the great thing about HSAs is they're really the only true tax-free savings vehicle out there. They're tax-free in 3 ways: the contributions, the distributions, and then any growth that you can do within them. So your contributions are pre-tax, taken out of your paycheck before federal or FICA. You can contribute up to $3,400 for a single and $6,750 for a family in 2017. These amounts change every year. They're usually increased by a little bit, and those are also set by the IRS. And if you're over age 55, you can contribute an additional $1,000 in what they call catch-up contributions. That's just because when you're getting older, you have more claims, and you're getting ready for retirement. The HSAs are great for retirement, and that's what a lot of people use them for. And you can change your contribution at any time. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar at all with how the FSAs work, or flexible spending accounts. When you elect how much you want to put into an FSA, you're locked in for that amount every year, or for that year, every month. With an HSA, you can change your contribution throughout the year. So if you know that you have a high cost claim coming up or a high surgery, you can start putting that money away pre-tax before that surgery, and then change your contribution again after that surgery.
The FSA, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yep.
The FSA would be AFLAC essentially here at school. Your elections for unreimbursed medical and that. Sorry, Tegan.
No, that's great.
And you can't do the HSA if a spouse has the
FSA, correct. And you can have an HSA and an FSA yourself, so. Any contributions can earn interest, just like a bank account. I know it's not a lot, but they can also be invested. Once you hit, I believe it's $2,100, depending on which vendor you go with. With the pool, it would be $2,100. Once you hit that limit in your account, you can start investing that money into like mutual funds or some kind of portfolio, just like you would with like a 401k. So distributions. You can take money out of your HSA at any time. It is your money, and you're never taxed if it's used for qualified medical expenses, and I'll talk about what those are in the next slide. But any distributions for non-qualified medical expenses, it would charge a 20% excise tax as well as your income tax bracket that you're in. So be aware of that. You can't go out and buy a new TV with your pre-tax money. But once you hit age 65, that 20% excise tax goes away. And you can start pulling that money out for retirement. One great perk about the HSA is that you roll over that money every single year. So with FSAs, you can only roll over about $500 a year. With an HSA, you can roll over your entire account balance. So if you have $10,000 in your HSA, you can contribute that. You can roll that over and then contribute that entire amount the next year. So for this year, it'd be that $3,400 for a single or $6,750. So you can build that up every single year. You don't have to spend the money in a certain amount of time. So eligible expenses, again, any medical expenses, going to the doctor, paying for those visits. Premiums for Medicare and long-term care and COBRA are also qualified medical expenses, dental and vision, dependent out-of-pocket expenses. So even if your dependents are covered under your spouse's copay plan, you can use your HSA to pay for their copays. But you can't use it, but you can't be enrolled in their plan with them. And then any over-the-counter prescriptions are qualified medical expenses as well.
Keegan?
Yeah.
You back?
Yep.
Dental and vision are qualifying. Now, there's certain FSA items, are you gonna be talking about those, that you can have on an FSA, but not included in the HSA?
Are you talking like the limited purpose FSA?
Yeah.
So there is, it's called a limited purpose flexible spending account. So if you guys have money in your flex account, but you want to roll that over to, or you want to elect that HSA, but you don't want to lose that money, you can roll that flex money into what's called a limited purpose flexible spending account. And a limited purpose just means you can only use it for dental and vision. So maybe one of the reasons you would want that is because you know you have like LASIK coming up or a large dental or vision claim, and you don't want to spend your entire HSA money on that. You would use that limited purpose flex, and that can be paired with an HSA, just not your medical flex. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's it, thank you.
Yep. So how does it work? It's kind of just business as usual. So you go to the doctor, they submit the claim to the insurance company, you receive the explanation of benefits and your clinic bill. Just kind of a good tip, you guys, when you receive that EOB and your clinic bill, make sure those amounts match. If they don't match, that's where you have a problem and you need to call your insurance company. But once you have that and those amounts match, you can pay with your HSA. You'll get, with the pool, depending on which vendor you go with, but you'll get a debit card. It looks like something like this. It is your money, you can pay with that and then save your receipt, and I'll talk about that in a second. Same thing at the pharmacy, you go and pick up your pharmacy prescription. Again, being aware that you're paying that true cost of that prescription. There's no more co-pays with this, but you can use your HSA there, go ahead and swipe it and then save your receipt. And I know you're like, why do I save my receipts? That sounds terrible, but you can actually be audited up to 7 years, and if you are ever audited, I know that's a slim chance, but they can look back up to 7 years and they want to look at your HSA to see what you're spending that money on and how much you've put into that account in the past. So I know it's kind of hard to save those thin paper receipts all the time because that ink wears off in about a week, but you can actually ask your pharmacist to print you off an entire list of what you've done or received that entire year. So you would save those. Just your responsibilities again, determining if you're eligible, keeping track of your receipts, and then you do report it on your income taxes at the end of the year. It's just one extra form. It's not hard, it's just what went in and what came out of your account for the year. I do want to show you guys a few examples and talk about some things here. So again, being aware that there are no more co-pays with this. You are responsible for that true cost. And here's just some national cost benchmarks. Again, any routine or primary care about $130. Emergency room is $615. Some specialty prescriptions, $17.50. Those are really, really expensive. So those are just average costs. So being aware of what those are and how much those services do cost. So here are just a few examples. This is one example. If you know you're gonna hit your out-of-pocket maximum for the year, you have a large claim coming up, you know regardless of which plan you're gonna be on, you're gonna hit your out-of-pocket maximum. So, here are the 3 plans, and here's the out-of-pocket for all of them. This is as a single, you guys. And here is the annual premium as a single cost for each plan. And here would be the total out-of-pocket cost for that year if you hit your out-of-pocket. So if you know that you're gonna hit your out-of-pocket, the Plains plan might be a better option for you, saving yourself a little bit of money. Again, you wouldn't have those co-pays, but you'd be capped at that $4,000, so you'd be done a little bit quicker than those other plans. So let's say that, another example, you have ongoing medical expenses, but you probably won't hit your out-of-pocket maximum. So you have 5 doctor's visits, an emergency room visit, a lot of prescriptions. Here is the total out-of-pocket cost, and then again, your premium cost, and your total out-of-pocket with that premium. So, in this scenario, the Hills plan might be better for you. And then last example, here's someone that doesn't have a whole lot of medical costs. So they may be going to the doctor twice a year, they just have a couple generic prescriptions. Again, that premium cost, in this scenario, the Plains plan might be better for you. So it's just knowing, you guys, how much you use these services. And I know you can't predict everything, but knowing how much you use these services and deciding which plan is best for you. The high deductible health plan might not be for everyone. Same with the copay plans, they might not be for everyone. So just knowing how much you utilize those services. You guys have any questions? I believe that's all I have for you.
I kinda do, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a dumb one, so I didn't get
It's,
the
I
answer.
bet it's not.
But, so my husband has the health savings account and the high deductible at his work with the kids.
Yep.
I can get it here. It's
You
just
can.
the FSAs that I can.
Yes. Yep, so you can actually get your own HSA here,
Okay.
but you as a family can still only contribute $67.50 total to both of those.
them.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
and that won't be a problem, but, we're cheap. But, cause I use ideas, he'll pay some of my medical bills out of his HSA.
Yep.
I can pay some of,
Absolutely.
back and forth, okay?
Yep. Good question. Yeah.
So if we currently have an unreimbursed medical account,
Mhm.
and we went with the high deductible, we wouldn't have that anymore? If we
You
went-
currently have a medical flex, is that what you're?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yes,
Yep,
we do.
with Aflac.
It's an
When is
option.
that plan year, Jim?
July 1. so
It is
we're okay.
July 1?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you have that flex right now, do you know if you have a carryover or a grace period?
No, we do
Just-
not.
You don't? Okay. So you'd be fine starting 7/1 to start with that HSA. That's,
We lose if we don't use all this, but with the other, we wouldn't lose it then?
no, so with that HSA, and when you're building that account up, you can carry that over every single year, so you wouldn't lose that money. Yep. The one thing though, you guys, with the difference between a flex and an HSA, so that flex money, when you elect that, is in your account immediately. With an HSA, you have to build that and start from 0. So just being aware that that money's not gonna be in your account right away, but you can incur those costs with an HSA and then submit them later. So if you wanna wait till your account is built up a little more, and then you can submit that and get reimbursed for those claims that you have with your HSA, so.
That's a good point, and I hadn't thought of it that way. A lot of times we'll have people that have a procedure done in July. They're electing $2,500, currently the max in medical. They can turn in a bill on July 3rd. I had this procedure done on the 1st, and I paid for it, and I can cut you a check then immediately for it. Under the HSA though, you're not gonna have any money in your account until, as it builds monthly, until you reach whatever max that you pick. So I'd never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and you can start, building it, with larger contributions right away if you wanna get that money in there quicker. But yeah, you're truly starting at 0, so just be
Okay,
aware of that.
That's a good point. So, start of the year, I can dump in 3,700 or whatever that dollar was,
Yep, 34,
34, or I can dump that in from someplace else, okay.
yep, and then you can change your contribution throughout the year.
If you dump in the max right away, you can't put any more the rest
Nope,
of the year.
then
Even
you're
if
done.
you use that 3,400 in 2 months, you can't put any more in.
Nope, cause
until the year.
3,400 has been in there, yep, correct. Good question.
So we can't roll our unreimbursed that we have currently? We
No,
can't.
you'll still have to have that done by June 30th, and then what you'll need to do, if you are gonna consider the HSA, you would not enroll next year for the reimbursed medical as well. You can do the limited,
But Tammy asked if you have some left, like you go to the doctor and you have $1,000 you still, can you put that 1,000 towards this after July 1st? That's what you're asking.
No.
You have to get that done by July 1st.
yeah,
Correct.
yep.
Yep. And that can just,
Or you could say I want to pay.
yeah,
So then you'd be paying $260.
The enrollment part of this, is this a one-shot deal that we sign up for either Dakota Care or Sanford, or are we able to annually make a decision?
every year at open enrollment, you'll have the opportunity to change carriers and change plans.
So we'll be having, what, next May, we'll be able to have a meeting again?
Yeah.
Sit down,
Correct.
fill out the paperwork. If they've changed something in one of the other that benefits us, we'd be able to move.
Yeah, you can move from Lavera to, I'm sorry, Dakota
Yep.
Care, and
Yep.
change your deductibles at that time as well.
Okay.
Yep, good question.
If you choose Sanford, you can use some Avera doctors. Is it more expensive to use Avera doctors if you choose Sanford?
It depends, yes, it will be. Your discounts are gonna be better. Sanford's gonna give themselves the best discounts, same with Dakota Care giving Avera the best discounts. There used to be those exceptions in place where you could use Avera providers. There are very, very few left. So if you do go to see any Avera provider, make sure you're doing that research beforehand if you have Sanford Health Plan. So just look those guys up on that provider directory.
Along Bill's question, on this sheet here, guys, left and right, both columns are in-network and out-of-network. It's kinda hard to see.
That's what I have.
You just can't, if you squint really hard, left-hand column's in-network, and Bill, if you're on Sanford and go to an Avera provider,
So there are higher,
it's higher.
Yes.
Right here is displayed, basically.
are higher.
So basically, the local people I see are Avera, and then we go to specialists for all Sanford. So it'd probably be best to do the new specialist or a different local or something.
Yeah, yeah, making that choice. I know it's not easy, but
But that's the way healthcare is these days. They want you to manage things better. And that's the joy of the HSA, is that, you know, if you're building up a dollar amount, let's say you got $1,200 in there, yeah, I'm feeling kinda under the weather. Do I wanna spend $130 to go see the doc, to know I've got a cold, or should I do the visual thing?
Yep, and good point, sorry. The e-visits and video visits for the high deductible health plan are only $40 to $50. It's the true cost of that, so it's still less than going in. So if you do have a high deductible health plan, using those e-visits or video visits would be a good benefit to cut back on those high expenses. So $40 to $50 for those with the high deductible health plan.
It helps you control your own costs. It gives you that control.
So you can go back a couple slides to your example of, the first example you gave me.
Is it hitting on our pockets?
No, it was one of your examples. Yeah, that one.
This is if you take your out of pocket.
That's how much it is.
Yep,
This would be decided to use this or the HSA.
yep.
So if I don't go very much, I only went to the doctor once.
That's single.
Yep, this was,
Bronchitis. Say what? I am on the two.
question.
Go with the scenario, Tammy had a great question. July 1 comes around, I've not contributed anything into my HSA at this point in time, but I have a procedure that's gonna cost me $1,200. Gotta pay the bill.
Yep.
So it's I'm gonna get it from someplace, you know, and fill my savings better. Over time, I'm going to build up my HSA account. Once that reaches $1,200, can I pull it out to replace?
Yes, so keep that receipt and you can submit that later. So, yep, good question, you can.
Is
You
there a
get
time
reimbursed for
when,
those if you don't have the money in your account yet. As long as you incur the claim within that plan year, you can. So if it happened in June, you could not submit that, but if it happened July 1st or after, then yes. Yep.
But the money.
All right, well, if you guys have any more questions, I'll stick around here if you have individual ones. Thank you, guys.
Deacon, thank you so much for taking that. Guys, thanks for sticking around. Good information. We're still gonna have a lot of questions, and we'll see if we can get answers.
No, I don't think it's pretty nice.